So today on Magical Vacation Memories, we're going to discuss nature and the Disney resorts. Now, when you're at Disney, do you take time out of your day to wander around the resorts? For example, if you're staying at Port Orleans Riverside or French Quarter, take some time to walk down by the river, along the walking paths, or Saratoga Springs, Old Key West, places like that, and go and see what wildlife and what other things you can see. Just take in, what the scenery has to offer. Check and see if you can find any alligators in the rivers, things like that. For me, we like to go for walks in the evening, see if we can find any armadillos. Definitely walk down. Got to check out the bodies of water and see if there's any alligators, or see what fish you can find, and different birds and things like that. What types of things do you enjoy doing? And have you explored the pathways around Fort Wilderness? I know there used to be a boardwalk that we would walk and go and check out what's going on out by Bay Lake, and check out what's in there. Go canoeing, and you used to be able to get kayaks and stuff as well. Haven't done that in a long time, but there's definitely some great walking trails all through Disney property that will take you in and behind the resorts. You can actually walk between Fort Wilderness and Wilderness Lodge. There's a walking trail that takes you up that way. Many times you can walk that route, come across lots of deer and whatever else. Snakes, definitely. Definitely seen the alligators back there. And you can go see what you can find for fish. But what other things do you like to do when you go and stroll around the Disney resorts?
I'm in the video, I'm sorry. Oh, yes.
So, for today, we are actually out wandering at home in Springbank Park. And the river's way up as the snow is starting to melt and go away. But in terms of when we're walking at Disney and checking things out, for example, like here, you can see where the beavers have been active, chewing on some of the trees and taking them down, or partially taking them down, as the case will be with these. What kinds of things do you enjoy looking at? Again, I touched on Fort Wilderness. So for example, you can go and walk the trails around Fort Wilderness, all around the river, and then there used to be a boardwalk that took you out across the back of the lake, and there was a bench and stuff you could sit on. Not to mention, there's also the campfire and sing-along and movies that are at Fort Wilderness, where you can sit down, you can sit with your family, make some s'mores, and just enjoy the movie and have a relaxing evening, either before or after having started going to the parks, or on a night before you're leaving to head home. It's a great way to just relax and take in some more of that Disney magic, and immerse yourself in all the wonder of the nature and the Disney theming and everything that goes along with that. So what kinds of activities do you enjoy doing? If you have any comments or suggestions, tips for anyone else, don't forget, leave a comment below. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. So, some of the activities that we like to do when we're at Disney, Surrey bikes. That's a big one. You can rent the Surrey bikes and ride. They're available at most resorts. Boardwalk, so you can rent them at Boardwalk and ride around up and over towards Epcot, over to Beach Club, down to Swan and Dolphin, around there, and check out some of the walking trails. Disney also has running trails all through the area. You can actually walk the trails between the resorts and up to MGM, Hollywood Studios, and back over to Epcot. As I was saying about Fort Wilderness, you have Surrey bikes there. You also have the walking trails, Tri-Circle D Ranch. You can do horseback riding and stuff like that. There used to be a train at Fort Wilderness that you could ride around on. That's been gone for quite a while. There's lots of different activities like that that you can do on a relaxing day at Disney. So not everybody wants to do parks all day every day, so there's definitely a lot of activities that you can take part in within the resort area without actually having to leave the resort, and it's all accessible by the resort buses. I will actually put a list together and show you what activities are available specifically at Fort Wilderness. That seems to be the biggest one that people tend to go and wander around and do activities at. Anyway, if you have any questions, tips, or tricks from your own experiences, feel free to drop a note at the bottom, and don't forget, like, subscribe, and share the channel. So touching a little more on the exercise trails and Surrey bikes and stuff that you can find around the Disney resorts. I will post some pictures as well showing some of the running trails, running paths from around Boardwalk, and what you can find around Saratoga Springs, as well as Old Key West, so that those that might have an interest in that can actually see where they are if they're unfamiliar with the ability to use those areas, and get out and have a run or ride a bike, take the kids on a Surrey bike. You can get 2-seaters and 4-seaters. You can also rent just regular bicycles, like cruiser bikes with the big laid back handlebars and stuff. Makes something a little more enjoyable. Just get out and ride around, have a little exercise. And it's really nice to ride around at Old Key West because you can ride all the internal roads and get out and just enjoy how quiet the resort is, and all the little areas you can go and check out where the other areas of the resort are, some of the pool areas. Again, there's at Old Key West and also at Wilderness Lodge, there are barbecues. Wilderness Lodge actually has gas barbecues, and I know Old Key West did have charcoal grills by the pool over in Turtle Pond area. Not sure if they're still charcoal or if they have changed them to gas grills or not, but stuff like that. And when you're out on the bike, you can actually ride out past the back side of Turtle Pond area. There's pathways that will actually take you down past the golf course. Use those as walking and running and riding trails that will take you all the way over to get to Saratoga Springs. You'll actually pass right by the backside of some of the tree houses, so that's, if that's something of interest that you want to go and explore without actually going into the parks and whatnot, those are excellent areas to do so. And I believe you can still rent canoes at Fort Wilderness, so you can jump in a canoe and go for a paddle around Fort Wilderness, around the river that encompasses the resort. Again, you also have the walking trails and so on, along with Tri-Circle D Ranch. You can go horseback riding there as well. So there's quite a few activities to do in and around the resorts themselves without actually having to step foot into the parks. So on your down days, your relaxed days, or just a day that you want to, not have the hustle and bustle of being in the parks and with the crowds and whatnot, you can, enjoy yourself. Take some time for you and the kids, or you and your spouse, and just hang out and have a relaxing day. These are all things that are available at all the resorts. Even the non-DVC resorts, like there's walking trails all along around Port Orleans Riverside, Port Orleans French Quarter. Same thing with Caribbean Beach, And also there's a boardwalk and walking trails around Coronado Springs as well. Same with Pop Century. You can take the walking trail around there and walk over to the Art of Animation side across the lake. So there's so many areas that you can just go and explore and see the wildlife and just relax and take in the nature of Florida beauty. Also look for alligators, fish, things like that. You can do so without actually getting too close to the water, so you don't have to really worry about that. But this is the video here is just us walking through Springbank Park here in London, where we live. I thought it was something that would be kind of nice, you know, show you some nature while we're talking about nature and activities to do outside the parks while at Disney World. Anyway, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and be sure to ring that notification bell so whenever we update the channel, you'll get notified and you'll know what's coming up, what's new, and don't forget to spread the word. Thanks so much. So touching on again on the resorts and everything that they have to offer outside of, you know, just the accommodation and the parks. All the resorts, especially the DVC ones, they also have activity centers. So for example, Old Key West, you can go down and you can rent movies that you can watch in your room. There's games, pool tables, some video games. I think they have the Nintendo Switch and I think Xbox and PS4s, so the kids can go down there if it's a rainy day or whatever and hang out, play some video games, do some stuff like that. Bay Lake Tower also has a large craft area. The kids can go in and make pillows and do ceramic mugs, things like that. If you have any questions about any of the activities, things like that, or activity centers, again, feel free to ask. Definitely drop a comment or questions below. We'll be happy to answer them. And if you have any suggestions, any videos you might like to see, anything that we can, you know, enlighten or talk about, anything that we can help discover, we look forward to all the feedback from our subscribers and those just following along. So again, feel free to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell.